New economic data out this morning. Wholesale prices fell 0.5% last month, signaling a possible ease in inflation. A major factor in the drop in the producer price index was energy. There was a more than 15% decline in gas prices. So joining me now is Robb. He's a senior reporter and economics editor for MarketWatch. So thanks for joining us. It looks like all things are pointing in the right direction. Each report we get out suggests a slowing of inflation. Help us break down what the numbers mean.
Well, the big headline for the numbers over the last 2 days that we've gotten on inflation is that this idea that the economy can have a soft landing is alive and well. And that's really good news. And that's why the stock market is reacting. It means that inflation can come down without the Federal Reserve really having to slam the brakes on the economy and kind of stop growth. So that it looks like we can, kind of maybe avoid a recession.
Mhm. So this report talks about what the producers are paying. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that they pass it on to the consumers, especially if they think the consumers are willing to pay more. We're heading into the holiday season. Could that have an impact on the way inflation looks, say, a month from now?
I don't think so. I think holiday sales are kind of a different kettle of fish. I think it's going to be hard for retailers, especially big box retailers, this season because the cost of living has gone up for so many Americans, and Americans are having to cut back. At the same time, though, they do want to spend on, presents for people, it seems, coming out of the pandemic. So what they're going to buy and what they're not going to buy, I think it's going to be a real headache for big box
Hmm.
retailers. So, but I don't think it'll boost inflation. That's kind of that's the thing about how strong the consumer is, which is another thing that the Fed is looking at and everyone is looking at.
Right. Well, we had the consumer price index come out yesterday, and you mentioned that stock market was really liking what they saw there. Investors were. J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon said yesterday that he's afraid that inflation may not go away that quickly, and that investors may have been overreacting to the CPI. Is it too early to tell where inflation is headed? 'Cause to me, it seems to be very slowly heading in the right direction. Not quickly, but at a good pace.
Yeah, we had a big jump of inflation over the last 18 months. And the way inflation works, it wasn't going to keep going at that remarkable speed that we saw, but it is kind of inching higher. I think Jamie Dimon has a good point that some economists have made. The genie is still out of the bottle on inflation. We haven't really solved it. Core consumer prices, which the Fed really pays attention to, are rising at a 4% rate. The Fed wants to get that down to a 2% rate. So there is some irrational exuberance around. But because we're so worried about this recession idea that somehow if a recession can get taken off the table and that the economy can continue to grow, that's pretty good news.
All right. I like good news. Robb, thank you.